one of the most influential and admired leaders in Silicon Valley, widely credited as the leader behind Facebook's transformation from a cash-poor social phenomenon to a profitable internet powerhouse. Sheryl Sandberg is consistently ranked near the top of the list of Fortune's most powerful women in business. She served as Google's Vice President of Online Sales and Operations and as Chief of Staff for U.S. Treasury Secretary before joining Facebook. In a broad-ranging interview, her session will explore her leadership at Facebook, her counterintuitive thoughts about gender in the workforce, and poignant insights into resilience from her new book, Option B. Let's give a warm summit welcome to Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl, our summit crowd has been looking forward to me interviewing you for a long, long time. And I don't want to waste a minute, so with your permission, I'd like to jump right in.
Well, thank you for having me. And as I told you, I read the Willow Creek case study in business school in 1993. So this has been a long time coming for me as well. And I'm super grateful to be with all of you.
Well, thanks again. So
we all know Condoleezza from her leadership in the political world. And if you think about it, she has been a part of 3 world-changing events in the last 50 years. First, the fall of the Soviet Union, the reunification of Germany, and 9/11, and the post-war on terrorism that resulted after that. She has been right in the crucible with other leaders making tough decisions, difficult circumstances with significant time pressures. Now, what you may not know is that she also knows how to run an organization. Before she went to Washington, she was the provost at Stanford University. And when she went there, their multi-billion-dollar budget was running a $20 million deficit. Within just 2 years, it was running a $14 million surplus, something that many leaders thought was virtually impossible to do that quickly. She knows how to make decisions. She knows how to run an organization. And it's going to be a pleasure to listen to her leadership insights at the summit.
At the age of 31, Asia Brown made history as the youngest elected mayor of Compton, California. A national trailblazer, her vision focused on family values, quality of life, economic development, and infrastructural growth. Brown started a gang reduction and intervention initiative, resulting in a record low for homicides in over 2 decades. She also reduced the unemployment rate by 50%, while successfully attracting new companies and employment to the city. By making these major strides in her first term, she was overwhelmingly re-elected to a second 4-year term in 2017. As a strong advocate for youth, women's rights and equality, Mayor Brown has received a number of honors, including the National Action Network Martin Luther King Award, as well as the esteemed John F. Kennedy New Frontier Award. Please give a warm summit welcome to Mayor Asia Brown.
Such an honor to be here today, and we're all here in the audience tuning in from campuses around the world because regardless of where we've come from or where we are, we're all dedicated to making a difference. We're committed to shaking things up. We've decided, to be a force for change.
Known for his mental toughness, grit, perseverance, and leadership, Bear Grylls is the embodiment of adventure. A former member of the British Special Forces, Bear went on to become one of the youngest to climb Mount Everest, despite breaking his back in a freefall accident only months earlier. Winner of 2 BAFTAs, his Emmy-nominated TV show Man vs. Wild was one of the most watched programs in the world, with an estimated audience of 1.2 billion. He also hosts National Geographic's hit series Running Wild, as well as groundbreaking series on Netflix and Amazon. A dedicated family man, Bear is honorary colonel to the Royal Marine Commandos and the youngest ever chief scout and ambassador to 50 million scouts worldwide. He is a best-selling author, having sold more than 18 million books, including his autobiography, Mud, Sweat and Tears, and his first book on faith, titled Soul Fuel. Joining us via video from the Swiss Alps, please welcome Bear Grylls.
It's such a great privilege to be with you guys at the Global Leadership Summit. And really what you do is amazing. You know, such a strong, kind, positive influence to many millions of people around the world. And really, I'm so full of admiration for all that you stand for. And I really wish I could be with you in person, but right now I'm away filming. But I really wanted to make time to share some truths with you.
Bozoma St. John is Chief Marketing Officer for Endeavour, a global leader in entertainment, sports and fashion operating in more than 30 countries. Over the course of her career, St. John has earned a formidable reputation as a trailblazing executive. She most recently served as Chief Brand Officer for Uber and also as Head of Global Consumer Marketing for Apple Music and iTunes. For her innovative work, St. John has been recognised as Executive of the Year by Billboard magazine, as well as featured on Fortune's Disruptors, Innovators and Stars 40 Under 40. She has also been listed among Black Enterprise's most powerful women in business and Fast Company's 100 most creative people. Please welcome Bozoma St. John, interviewed by Paula Faris.
Let me ask you first, how important is a healthy and thriving culture to the success of a business, to an organization, to a church, to a hospital, to a school?
Yeah, well, I think the easy answer, and we probably all know that, is that yes, of course, it's very important. Where we get lost is in thinking where the culture begins. We often think that it happens in the employee handbook or from the CEO's office.
It doesn't happen in the employee handbook?
It sure doesn't, no.
Okay.
Try reading it. Okay. On page 684, you'll find the
thick
rules for a healthy culture.
Melinda Gates is one of the best-known, most admired women in the world. As co-chair of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Melinda feels a special call to serve those who have no voice in society. She describes her philanthropy as faith in action, and that faith expresses itself in love of neighbor. Melinda grew up in Dallas, Texas, and attended Ursuline Academy, an all-girls Catholic school that emphasized a life of service. As a high school student, Melinda remembers tutoring underprivileged children in a nearby public school, where she confronted the heartbreaking reality that, as she put it, a short stretch of road separated the kids who were getting ahead from the kids who were falling behind. Melinda graduated from Duke University, where she earned degrees in computer science and business, and in 1987 joined Microsoft as the youngest new hire and the only woman in its first class of MBAs. When she left a decade later with the birth of her first daughter, Melinda was general manager of information products, overseeing 300 employees. In the early 1990s, Melinda and Bill took a trip to Africa that gave them their first sustained look at extreme poverty. It is this trip that would inspire them to make philanthropy the cause of their lives, and have agreed that the principle all lives have equal value would form the moral core of their giving. And so, the Gates Foundation focuses globally on fighting poverty and disease, and domestically on improving public education. Melinda is an outspoken advocate for women and girls, and forms a special bond with the mothers she meets in developing countries. She says there is no difference in what we want for our children. The only difference is in our ability to give it to them. Please welcome Melinda Gates to the summit.
Melinda, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of a very busy life to spend a few minutes with us today. I've admired you from afar for a long, long time, admired your leadership, your vision, your compassion for people, and the fact that you've been blessed with a lot of resources, and you don't just take that all for yourself and your family, and you've given back to the world. So again, let's welcome Melinda Gates to the crowd here.
Thank you. That's really kind, and I was so grateful that you were able to stop by Seattle last month, you and Lynn, and we got to talk a little bit about the work that the Foundation's doing before coming to this large gathering, which was really terrific.
It was, and I'll get into the specifics of that later, but
A 24-year veteran of the FBI, Chris Voss was the lead international kidnapping negotiator and was trained not only by the FBI, but by Scotland Yard and Harvard Law School. He is founder and CEO of the Black Swan Group, a company which draws on Chris's experience in high-stakes negotiations to teach how to accelerate business negotiation outcomes with tactical empathy. Named by Inc.com as one of the 7 best books on negotiation ever written, Voss's national best-selling book, Never Split the Difference, debunks the biggest myths of negotiations and provides useful strategies for leading in the workplace, as well as in everyday life. He's been featured in Time, Business Insider, Entrepreneur, Fast Company, Fortune, The Washington Post, CNN, ABC News, and more. Welcome, Chris Voss, interviewed by Paula Faris.
Welcome, everybody. What a treat. Hello to our global audience. Hello to everybody watching from our host sites. Chris, I have a confession. I'm excited to interview, but I'm a little terrified because of your extensive work with the FBI. I just need you to look in the camera and promise everyone that you're not going to issue some sort of Jedi mind trick on us today.
I promise.
From secretary to CEO to Senate candidate, Carly Fiorina is one of the most recognizable leaders in America today. She began her career as a secretary and 20 years later became the first woman to lead a Fortune 50 company. Under her leadership, the company doubled in revenue, generated 11 patents per day, and led the market for all of its product categories. Carly's leadership insights emanate from a distinctive, thoughtful, yet practical point of view. She's gone on to leverage her skill and experience as an innovator in the nonprofit realm, a best-selling author, a political commentator, and a business strategy expert. Let's welcome Carly Fiorina back to the summit stage.
Good morning. Good morning. It's so wonderful to be back here at Willow and at the Leadership Summit. You know, every time I hear an intro like
Alan Mulally served as president and CEO of the Ford Motor Company from September 2006 to June 2014, where he worked on creating a compelling vision, comprehensive strategy, and implementation of the One Ford Plan, a plan based on focus, teamwork, and a common definition of success. Through this plan, Alan led Ford's transformation into one of the world's leading auto companies and the #1 automobile brand in the United States, returning it to profitability and changing the way the organization works. Prior to joining Ford, Mulally drew on his educational experience in aeronautical and astronautical engineering to serve as executive vice president of the Boeing Company, president and CEO of Boeing Commercial Airplanes, and president of Boeing Information, Space, and Defense Systems. Throughout his career, Mulally has been recognized for his contributions, industry leadership, and service. He has been named #3 on Fortune's list of the world's greatest leaders, twice named one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world, and Chief Executive's 2011 Chief Executive of the Year. Mulally serves on President Obama's United States Export Council, and in July 2014 was named to Google's board of directors. Please welcome Alan Mulally.
As an aeronautical engineer, I found my first service and love in commercial airplanes. And I joined Boeing in 1969, and I had a chance to serve on the design team of every Boeing airplane, the 707, the 727, the 737, the 747, the 757, the 767. And also I was the chief engineer and the director of engineering and the program manager on the 777. And then proceeded over the launch of the 787.